أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا. Hold fast to the rope of Allah and do not become divided. Peace and blessings, my dear brothers and sisters. Let us talk a little bit about, do you believe that history repeats itself? That's a question, and that's what we intend to talk about, that history repeats itself. On the 10th of Muharram, this has nothing to do with Ashura, it's just coincidental. An army of Khalifa Yazid, son of Muawiyah, massacred a small number of Muslims led by Hussein, grandson of the Prophet, at Karbala. This event is referred to as the Battle of Karbala, but it wasn't really a battle. It should not be treated as an isolated incident. The fact is, it has its origin in the assassination of Uthman ibn Affan, radiallahu anhu, the third Khalifa. The assassination of Uthman ibn Affan, radiallahu anhu, and subsequent events have numerous lessons for the leaders of the Muslims: kings, princes, sultans, presidents, prime ministers, and the leaders in the Caribbean Muslim community. It is said that history has a way of repeating itself. For those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it, and those who fail to learn from the mistakes of their predecessors are destined to repeat them. The Muslim community in New York is a microcosm of the Muslim world. Each masjid operates like a city-state. We cannot whitewash history by presenting a perfect picture. Rewrite certain incidents, omit them, and say that the politics was in agreement with the laws of brotherhood, or that the Muslims enjoyed peace and harmony. Within 200 years after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, incidents occurred that influenced events 1,300 years later. I'm speaking now about the 21st century. They repeat themselves in Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Egypt. Every Islamic New Year should remind us of the sufferings of millions displaced Muslims, refugee camps, and destruction to life and property. How many will give time to the Battle of Karbala and compare it with the tragedies in Yemen? 4 million Muslims have been displaced and 100,000 killed. Do Muslim lives matter? It is very easy to talk about help, but what about ending the war in Yemen? Who will condemn the powers responsible for the war in Yemen, or will they excuse themselves by saying, well, this is politics and we don't want to get involved in politics? Let me refer you to major incidents that shaped the history of the Muslims. Which one was free from politics? You make the conclusions. Uthman ibn Affan was assassinated in his home in Medina while reciting the Quran. Talha and Zubair, may Allah be pleased with them, staged an unsuccessful coup against Ali radiallahu anhu. The first civil war was fought between Ali radiallahu anhu and Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the wife of the Prophet. Certain states declared unilateral independence, example, Egypt and Syria, while Ali radiallahu anhu was the Khalifa. Muawiyah engaged Ali radiallahu anhu in the Battle of Siffin, which was the second civil war. And at that war, the sect calling themselves known as the Khawarij was created. The assassination of Ali radiallahu anhu in the masjid. The Khalifa becoming hereditary, Muawiyah passed it on to his son Yazid. The massacre of Karbala and the rise of the Umayyads Khalifa. The removal of the Umayyads and the rise of the Abbasid Khalifa and the fragmentation of the Muslim world into autonomous dynasties. Let us learn from history and not doom ourselves as masjids, organizations, and leaders to repeat the mistakes. Let us work to achieve cooperation and unity and take lessons from history. Failure to cooperate and work in unity to achieve common goals and objectives will be to the detriment of the next generation of young Muslims. Look into your masjid and see how the leaders are taking care of the youth. Take care, my dear brothers and sisters. I hope you fast on the 2 days of Muharram, the 9th and the 10th, or the 10th and 11th, Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. Peace and blessings, my dear brothers.